Okay, so good morning, and we are live on my intentional parenting journey this morning. And my guest today is also in the studio, as you can see. So I have Dr. Boma with me. So Dr. Boma had said, "You know what, coach? I want to be in the studio." And I was like, "Yay, why not?" So if you can hear me, you can see me. Please let me see your comments in the comment section, telling me that you can see and that you can hear me. Can you see us? Can you hear us? Now, my intentional parenting journey is the journey of parents who have worked with us over the years, and they are sharing with you what their journey is like. I usually come and tell you the inner circle is this happens in the inner circle and all of that. But many of the times, I realize that when it's the people that is really talking about it, it makes more sense because it's no longer coach trying to market, Abi. Aha. So it is now people sharing their experiences, all right? People, saying, this is what has happened to me. This is how I've been able to, go through with it. So that is what we are doing today, all right? So thank you for joining me. I want to be sure that we're joined in on Facebook. All righty. Okay, great. So thank you for joining me. All right. I can see you. I can hear you from Imo State. Yay! Hi, Chinyeremwa. Chinyeremwa. That's the extra. The one there is the extra. All right. So thank you. And I know that some of you are on the wait list of the academy, and you are also wondering, is it worth it? Am I really sure that I know what I'm doing? So today we've been having the My Intentional Parenting Journey team. This is the 11th day, yeah? We started on the 1st of September, and we're going to run My Intentional Parenting Journey for a long time this year because we want to bring as many people as possible to come and show and tell, right? So let's start with my guests. Dr. Boma. Dr. Boma is a medical practitioner at National Hospital here in Abuja. Yes, busy. I like to bring these career women, career men. On Friday, it was Pastor Wale and his wife. Pastor Wale is a pastor in a church. Pastor Wale works, as an engineer in an organization. He has a 9 to 5. And then he, runs other stuff. The wife runs the school. So when people tell me, "Oh, I don't have time," I'm really wondering, who are these people? So, Dr. Mama, over to you. How did you come in contact with the Intentional Parent Academy? I've never heard this story.
Yes.
So I'll be so glad to hear.
Okay, so thank you so much, Coach, for having me. I mean, when you told me, and initially I was like, okay, I'm going to join live from where I am. I'm like, how can you be doing that? Coach is in the same town as you, and you can't seize the opportunity. I said, no, I have to come in. My daughter was asking, "Mommy, why all the fuss?" I said, you don't understand. So I'm here this morning, and it's such a privilege to be able to share my journey. So how did I come in contact? It was through Facebook. I had the intention of, starting something because I had that same passion for coaching parents and all of that. But I looked around our system in the country and I couldn't really lay my hands on something that was tangible, something that had structure, something that we could follow through. Most of the stuff I saw was outside the country, things that were not relatable. So somehow I just stumbled on your page, on Facebook. And then at the time you were advertising the sex educate
your child like a pro.
So I signed up and the rest is history. So for me, it was the structure, and I'm like, wow, this is huge because there was no system, that was able to really put a structure around this whole parenting thing in the context of how Nigerian parents do. I had the passion, but I needed a structure, and so for me, that was how the journey started, and of course, the rest is history. So like 2 years plus down the line, and I have no regrets.
Alrighty, so I've worked with Dr. Boma for 2 years now, and so she came in looking for, this is me just hearing it, all right, looking for how, okay, is there somebody who has a structure that I can even come and see? There's something we say in the Masterpiece Women, if you can say it, then that means if a giant has been slain,
Yes.
it means that you can slay many more giants.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Many more giants, right? So this was her seeing someone slaying a giant and then, coming in. But she came into the inner circle program.
Yes.
The inner circle program is for your journey as a parent. So at what point what did that do for you? Let me start from there.
Okay, so of course, for me to even be able to take parents through, I had to actually be doing it. So I've seen you walk the talk, right? You don't just teach, okay? You say you preach what you practice.
I practice.
Yeah, you preach what you actually have practiced. So
Yes.
I'm like, okay, so even if I want to teach parents, how am I doing in this journey? So I needed to take myself through a process for me to be able to say, okay, I've arrived, I'm beginning to make sense of this whole thing. And when I got into the system, I was wowed, at the things that we actually take for granted. So most parents focus on the kids. My child is not doing this, my child is not doing that. When I got into the system, I realized that at the end of the day, it's about you. And that statement is huge. When they say parenting is about you, that statement is pregnant.
That's a good way to say it.
Because as each day unfolds, I get to understand that it's actually about me. Emotional intelligence, having a parenting plan for your success, it starts with you, your self-care. What coaching programs have you signed up to, which is what I'm currently doing? Who is your mentor? What skills are you building? It's not about complaining. My child did not listen. What are you doing? You're literally a role model. So when I got in, I was humbled. You say we wear the humility abada. I will tell you something.
Humility abada is
I've shown more.
It's just an act of being humble, in case you don't understand it.
So some years down the line, before I got to this point, just by the way, EI is also something I've been a lifelong learner, and that's what I've learned from you. EI has really taken me from where I used to be. I remember then very vividly something that happened. My daughter was about 3. I was so angry I couldn't hold my emotions. I told her I was going to give her a dirty slap. That was the height, So, but I look at my journey where I was, and where I've arrived, where I've gotten to, the point I've gotten to, and a whole lot has happened. It has been transformative, and for me, I like results. I like implementation. In fact, everything that is I hold so dear, things that are values to me, is what I just see play out in the academy. And I don't think it's a place that anybody will be thinking like, should I not? I mean, it's all shades of awesome.
Amazing. So this is one leg. Every time I was listening to a particular yada, very very recently, and the yada was sharing with me how the academy had become a 360 degree for her. She shared with me, she said, Coach, do you know that even my finances have become, in fact, my finances is so different, because when I am looking, I'm wondering about this thing, it's doable. How can I do something different and all of that? And she said, my marriage, my relationship with others, my relationship with my siblings. In fact, she said she thought she used to have good relationship with people. When she got into the academy, she heard something. She now saw that, okay, there's something not okay. So can you share with us, Dr. Boma, the different aspects of your life that being in the inner circle has transformed, touched, whatever it is, whatever word they were using for it?
All right. So first off, I would say consistency. Just by watching the way you show up, I'm like, wow, how does this woman do it? So I have no reason to complain. So it has helped me, to be more consistent in my career, to show up daily regardless. Do you understand? So that actually launched me. There was a period, when things were topsy-turvy, but because of the consistency, I was still able to get that scholarship. I told you I went to India for training and all of that. Somehow it happened, because I had built this resilience just by seeing how you operate, consistently. And then another thing for me was seen friendship in a whole different light. So when Auntie Etima shared, that session on friendship,
yes.
it changed my mindset about friendship. And I actually took steps to build, with the friend I had, we intentionally started creating something that was beyond what we used to know about friendship. Another thing I'm going to say is time management. So when you took that webinar, wow, you were looking at time management in the context of essentialism. So a lot of things changed. For instance, there are some social media accounts, you told us there are some people you're following. You don't have any business following. There are some things you're doing that are taking your time. So I have to go and do a ruthless audit, of who I'm following, things I do on the space. So there was one word you said you just go there, the social media space, you do what you have to do and you're out. So for me, that was something that really helped me. Sometimes the social media can be really addictive. You're scrolling from one place to the other. And most times parents complain, I don't have time. For me, that was a game changer. You're actually spending time without knowing it on things that are not essential to you in your journey at that point in time. So that was like a game changer for me. And honor as a skill. I can't, this discussion will be incomplete, if I don't mention that. When you took that webinar, I never really understood honor, in that light. Most times we are always fixated on my child should obey, my child should do this, my child should do that. You talked about honor being customer service brought home. And I said, okay, let me just see how this will work out. I actually played it. What you have to do, show before you now expect your child to. So I went ahead and, started doing one or two things and all of that. Like this honor as a skill thing has become like a trade name in the family now. So I'll give you specific examples. Once I went for one professional exam early in the year. If you see the way I was welcomed back home, like as if it was, of course I'm a dignitary, but the love was overwhelming. My daughter went out of her way, did some decorations, wrote a letter to congratulate and celebrate me for passing my exams, wrote specific words, it was so heartwarming. And that honor as a skill is something that I really, really love the way you explained it, and that's a greater desire than obedience. And that's what every parent, should focus on.
Thank you so much, Dr. Boma. So Dr. Boma had moved to the webinars. She couldn't even wait to get there. So Dr. Boma is a senior yada for the records. All right, she's been in the inner circle this is her second year. And the interesting thing is that, she was, you can't talk about the transformation, I guess, without talking about the webinars. It becomes really impossible to speak about the transformation without the webinars. And I'm sure that you've heard many others. Somebody said to me, it was honor as a skill that I had last year. That's what made me get into the inner circle. And coach, when you took that class, I was not. In fact, I was wow beyond expectation. I thought they were just hyping. But then when I stood in that class, she said to me, I couldn't eat for like 2 days. I was wondering, what just hit me? What did I just hear? So honor as a skill comes to everybody differently. For me, that's what I think. Some people finish it and they feel, okay, this thing that I'm doing with my husband, that's not it all. I think I've crossed the line. Some people finish it and say, my parents, okay. Some people finish it and say, oh, my mentors, my teachers, and that's one thing that Dr. Boma has been able to do so well, being able to understand, the honor code when it comes to teachers and all of that. Conversation for another day, private matter. Let's not go there. All right, so Dr. Boma, can you tell us, can you hear us? If you can hear us, if you can see us, please, in the comment section, let me see you. Share with us. Are you following? All right. Did you tag someone that you know? Did you share this link for somebody to come and listen? Because my intentional parenting journey is that place where you're going to be hearing real life experiences of yadas. Yadas are inner circle parents. Now, the inner circle program is a program for parents. All right. If you look at the If you look at the video, you will see the details scrolling on that. So the Inner Circle program is for parents who want to actually, not parents who things have gone wrong. You know, some people said to me, is it parents who are struggling with something? I said, no. In fact, it is the parents who are not struggling with anything yet. This is so key for us to note. In fact, that's where your journey is actually easier. When you wait there, when things are spoiled, child, it's hard though. I won't even lie to you. So if you're just starting your journey, this is when it's starting. Somebody is asking me, when next are you going to teach honor as a skill? There's no next. It doesn't exist anywhere else apart from the Inner Circle program. If you want to access honor as a skill, you need to get into the Inner Circle program. That's the only way it exists. It does not exist outside of the Inner Circle program. Nope. So if you want to be part, if you want to understand all of the things that we do when it comes to, honor as a skill, essentialism, and all of the rest, you would need to join the Inner Circle for next year. All right. The next year's Inner Circle is starting on the 1st of December 2023. The details for it is on my screen. The beautiful thing is you can book with 5,000 naira and you can now spread your payment within the year. Provided your payment is finished before 1st of December, you're good to go. All right. It's 100,000 naira for a single slot and 170,000 naira for a couple slot. Let me tell you the interesting thing. There are people who have paid over 100,000 naira a year after they've paid their money. Dr. Boma is smiling. She knows what I'm talking about. She has. All right. There are people. So when I say there are people who pay, they've decided, you know what? Every month I want to pay. It's as if I'm not paying enough. I just want to pay something else. So when I talk about the money, a lot of people just think, hey, is that by yourself? I won't be the one telling you. By yourself, if you are taught and led, you will realize that there are people who pay more. I've had people in the Inner Circle who pay 2 times the fee that they've paid. They come to me and they say, Coach, no, I can't. I just feel I need to pay more for this. All right. So that is it. All right. Honor as a skill is an Inner Circle exclusive right reserved. That's it.
If you don't get it, forget
about it. You can never see it outside. And you're not going to see that lecture right on Google. It is not Googleable. The things we teach in the Inner Circle is not Googleable. So, Dr. Boma, tell me, what has been the effect of the Inner Circle on your children?
Yes.
So, you were able to travel to India. You were in India for 3 months. How did your children cope? Parents come and tell me, I'm busy, I'm going everywhere, I cannot, I cannot, and all of that. How did that change the game for you? I usually tell parents that if you are able to get this thing right, even your career, you'll be able to focus more.
Yeah.
So how were you able to take the bull by the horn, do 3 months,
as in
with an 8-year-old and a toddler?
Actually, I did it afraid. There were doubts. Of course, like you keep saying, courage is not the absence of fear, but you being able to. But first of all, I just want to appreciate my husband. He was supportive during that period. I mean, if he wasn't in the picture, it may not have been. So you need helpers. You talk about parenting partners, of course, your spouse and other people. So, but beyond that, it's about what you have built. Okay. So you have taught us enough to understand that you're supposed to be teaching. So your parenting is a training ground, not a condemning zone or a judgment zone. So the skills, from the time I joined the circle, I understood who my first daughter then was about 5, 6 or thereabout. So I understood from the webinars her personality. And so I set to work, trying to build the specific skills. For instance, things like executive function. This was one, when you took that webinar, it was a mind-shifting experience for me. So I developed strategies, based on what you gave, started teaching skills. Then when my second daughter came into the picture, you know, at the time I didn't understand this screen media, screen stuff with my first daughter, so it was a struggle. But I was able to achieve it. My second daughter did not do screen, you know, for the first 1 year to 18 months. It wasn't easy, but I tried, and I have results to show for it. Okay, like you keep saying, screen takes away focus. So we tend to think that, okay, screen, our children are learning. In fact, I'm a medical doctor, of course, so I know that much. Okay, the American Academy of Pediatrics advises that children less than 18 have no business unless it's a video call, you know, conference call they need to. So I tried. It wasn't easy, but guess what? My mom, you know, and other people in my daughter's school, they could attest to the fact that she was very socially intelligent, and that for me was a win. So at the time when I was to travel, you know, I'd put things in place. I said, okay, let me do some test launching. Okay, testing the plan, you know, yes, I put in place like you told us. I got to India, you know, anytime I call, I ask, have you done this? Have you done that? Everything was, you know, even before I asked, they're like, we did it. They even take the initiative to go beyond, you know, what I even expected, to do the extras. Like, come on, guys. And I'm like, wow, it's like they don't even need me again. You know, at the point I was now feeling, so as I've gone, these people, so it's like that, you know, they'll be telling me stories of how they've cooked. Oh, have you done mama's? My daughter, if you leave her, the older one, she can literally bathe the toddler, dress her up, and mommy, don't worry, we've done this, we've done that, I've made dinner, I've done. I'm like, wow. So the beauty of all of this is that when you pay the price, you know, you keep saying you pay the price. So you decide, do you want to pay the price now or later?
Either way.
You do. So do the time now. I spent time working on these EF skills. It wasn't easy because her kind of personality, you know, she's all over the place, she's disorganized, she's a creative. So you told me you need a lot of structure, and I had to put all that in place. All right. So that for me, it was a big win.
You know, and you know, just like Pastor Wale was talking about the other day, and was talking about the children, right? And he said, I didn't have to break a sweat when my wife was not around.
Wow.
You know, he was like the children. He said, I had food on the table as at when due. I didn't have to. So I usually tell parents that it's not about oh, I don't have time, I cannot do it. Whatever you don't do today now, it's going to show tomorrow. And so that's even an extra for you, that you are able to just leave. There's a popping, so you started your popping right. Dr. Boma is entering her popping stage, yes, where she can pop and pop and pop out.
Yes, so I want to be like you, Coach Wendy. When I see all those delicacies, you know, you just sit down and be enjoying yourself. I'm like, I'll get there.
What was the first thing that wowed you when you got into the academy?
Okay, so I think for me, it was the creating the family values. So now, looking back in retrospect, so for me, when I created it, you know, I did the throw pillow and I sent it to you.
Yes.
I typed it first and sent it. You were like, you're good to go. I can, you know, go ahead. And I did the throw pillow. So when I looked at it and I'm like, wow, this is all we stand for, just, you know, in a
nutshell.
Now, and looking back, it has made more sense because it has defined a lot of things. Now, my daughter is the prophet of values. Anything she's saying, she was like, this does not reflect our values, so I can't do this, because you keep saying that he who knows why. So it's not enough to just tell them the values. You need to reinforce. So each time I say, why are you not taking this decision? Because of our values. Why? You know, so she always links things, and it has just been playing out, the vision, the mission statement, and it has been so amazing. And I'm like, this is actually the whole point of everything that we are doing at the end of the day, you know. So for me, that was a wow. And then the book reviews, you know, it improved my reading. Okay, so like they say, where you'll be 5 years from now would be dependent on the books you read and the people you meet.
You
You know? So I have improved my reading skills. Like I read even more than 12 books a day from all the webinars, my own personal development, and it has been so amazing.
You know, one of the things that people, when they get into the inner circle, say is, "Can I read?" They say they read there. I'm like, I don't understand. Yet we expect our children to read. Come on, all right. And you know, one of the things that we say is that we get yadas reading because yadas are thinkers.
It's not negotiable.
Yeah, no. We get you moving, we get you reading, and you know, you will be ginger to read because your quest for knowledge will increase because you're seeing quite a lot and you're seeing too many things revolving, you know, in so many areas. So tell us about the community.
Yes.
What is the impact of the community? We heard Dr. Sifasori say one time that you don't do life alone, you do life in communities. You know, and I have always said that on your journey as a parent, you need a village. The village scripting is actually the real essence of intentional parenting. Yes. So if you parent alone without the village scripting, you miss it. And that's why in the inner circle, we're getting to the point where we're saying, we're not marrying anybody. It is part of the village script.
Yeah.
All right. So what has the community done for you on your journey?
All right. So, like you said, you know, we are not islands. We are relational beings, right? We're social beings. So for me, it has been like a motivator. So each time I get into the space, I'm seeing what other people are doing, you know, so it gives me the permission to actually do. So I'm like, wow, if this is possible, then I mean, it's doable, you know. Sometimes you think that some things are so out of reach or they are not something that can be attained, but you actually see parents like you that probably have like 5 children. I see some parents that have 4 or 5 children.
Jobs.
They are like, my child did this, I was able to achieve this, and I'm like, wow. So I need to, there's something that I need to actually look at, you know, that I need to twerk to be able to achieve this. Is achievable. And it helped me to connect. So I reached out, you know, I've reached out to a lot of yadas, you know, in Abuja and other places that we share, you know, similar things, and we just encourage ourselves. You know, we meet. We've actually had time to hang out, like all of that. My book review partner, you know, and also it's like a community where, like there was this post I saw. They say, shame, you know, is taken out when secrets are told in safe places.
Yes.
So it's a safe haven for you. You can actually be vulnerable. You know, share your challenges. There are parents that are also walking the same journey with you that can, you know, offer their own advice, tell you how they were able to, you know.
And sometimes it's even a contribution you make and somebody says, no, is that really right? What do you think about this?
Yes. So,
and then they correct it.
So it helps to check you, okay? It helps you to stay on track. It helps you to stay motivated. Some days, you know, it's not every day. Like they say, you wear motivation daily.
Yes.
So yesterday you were motivated. Today you're not up for it, and you just look. Somebody said something that I have to move. you
know, talking about community. I remember, this is now my story. I remember one of those days I had seen my friend's children. You know, one of my closest friends, Chetima, and I was seated in my home. I saw them appear in my home. 2 of them. They are about my children's age mate. I said, how did you guys come here? Did your dad drop you? They said no. Did your mother drop you here? They said no, we came on our own. I said, what? That was some years ago. I said, nah, you came on your own? I said, this is it. There's no lion anywhere. I called her and I said, you sent your children out. You did not tell me. She said, coach, you know, we're trying to move this thing and move it and move it. I said, oh yeah, let's move. That's how my children learn to go on their own. That's how they learn to enter bike, enter keke, name it, trek, walk, whatever it is. So there's no lion anywhere.
Yes.
There is no lion.
Lions, man-made.
Man-made lion. That's what you have on the road. And this is why a lot of the times you find out that community helps you. It could just be somebody coming to come and share. The other day it was Pastor Wale who shared that the son wanted to do internship. So, you know, in Nigeria, especially for those of us in Nigeria who do not have opportunities, I look at people who are in the Japa community who have a lot of opportunities, who can't use it. One of the things that intentional parenting does for you is that it helps you to see those opportunities,
Mm.
the things that you don't even know exist. Then now in Nigeria, all right, you find out that these things are there, but because there's no structure to give it to you. So the inner circle gives you that structure. And somebody was telling a story how the son did an application for a job, a holiday job. Oh yes, if you're in the inner circle, your children will do holiday jobs. All right. So, and by the time the son applied, said how the son, I was like, okay, an application. Even me, I was like, that's it. You need to apply yourself. Let us even go there. And this is so important. I remember sharing with the parents in the inner circle how my son had to go and learn how to bend iron.
Bend iron, yes.
In fact, we use it to make jokes. So the iron bender, and all of that. We talk about it. And a lot of parents got their children moving. Some of them had to go work in mechanic shops. It's not because your children are going to become iron benders or mechanics. No, there are principles to this. So being able to learn that is the product. Is not that's not the root. There's something that has to be done. So a lot of the times I put a disclaimer. Please do not hear me and just send your children to go and walk on the streets just like that. Don't do that. There is a way. There is a way to the city. There is a way to the city. So, Dr. Boma, let's talk a bit deeply about the webinars.
Okay.
Which would be your favorite? That webinar that got you to the point where you're thinking, what is this? Where have I been? Which webinar? And what did you do with it? And how did it change your life?
Okay. Sorry, before I make a comment, someone is asking, read 12 books. I don't read 12 books a day, sorry. It's a year. That was what I meant.
Yes.
And more. Okay, so yes, for me, I would say the webinar on who am I parenting? Okay, because I used to shout and flog a lot, but when I listened to that webinar, I realized that I wasn't doing the right thing because I don't even understand who this child is. A lot of us are just, oh, the child didn't do this, the child didn't do that. There is a reason. Okay. So when I listened to that webinar, coach, you broke it down. So you said, this is my child's personality. This is the expected behavior. These are the prospects. These are the challenges this child will face. This is what you need to do. What is my role now to help this child? So based on that, I drew up a plan. And then when you also reinforced with the transition plan and the parenting launch plan, I now drew up a specific plan for my child. So for me, that was really what helped me a lot and transformed the way I now relate with my daughter and the results that I've gotten. For instance, maths was a challenge for her. Okay. Part of the plan was to always attend all the courses. So whether I have money or I don't have, I will go and look for money because I knew that I needed to put it into that plan. When you sparked our brain to understand who is this child I'm parenting, right? So that learning style course was a game changer. It helped me. Math was a challenge for my daughter, but I told you, I sent you the video. 1 year down the line, she was the best in maths, and she was so proud. Like, it's not rocket science. There are principles. There is a way. There are principles to be followed. So that was one of the game-changing webinars. Then creating a social roadmap
for your Gen Z.
So most times parents are complaining. It's actually the environment you have exposed your child to. Children are born on a clean slate, right? It is what you actually do. So if you understand that, you will intentionally curate that experience. So that's creating the social roadmap for me was another game changer. So I started looking at who are these other people. Because like you told us, I don't have time again. My daughter is 8. She will soon get to that stage where I will not be the most influential. I will still be important, but not the
most influential.
So before I move to the 4th floor, what am I putting in place?
Yes.
How am I influencing who she becomes friends with?
Mm.
Who are the other adults I'm influencing that's going to be in her space, right?
Mm.
So for me, that creating the social roadmap was another game changer for me. And of course, honor as a skill. That
no, yeah, that talks about webinars without honor as a skill.
It's incomplete.
It's incomplete without honor as a skill.
So those were like there are so many, I can go on and on. There, in fact, when you think that is it not this one? We've heard it before. Once I just log in, you just see me because I carry this thing. Even if I've heard it before, I say, okay, let me just leave it. I say, go and watch that thing again. There's always something new to learn. There is always something new to learn. Okay?
Amazing.
Yeah.
There's always something new to learn. And for me, that's a pointer. If you do not understand that part, it means that even if you have learned everything, there's always something about what you're learning. And Who Am I Parenting webinar was that webinar for me that also changed how I raised, how we raised our own son. My husband and I, we had our struggles at the beginning of our journey. And when people say, "Oh, you need to hire 1 million lesson teachers," how many did you hire?
None. Absolutely none.
So when people come into the inner circle, the first thing I tell them is, if you have a lesson teacher, fire the lesson teacher. Child, they will come for you.
Yes, sir.
They will say, coach, you want to spoil market or something. I'm not spoiling your market. If you're a lesson teacher, there's a lot more. There's a way you can do it, all right? So you can actually earn money also doing tutoring, but a different way. I do not want you to just, feed children with just, so a child is struggling with learning and you're giving the child more learning. That doesn't solve any problem. Yeah. So, Boma was saying something about her daughter struggling with mathematics. Mathematics is one concept I tell in the inner circle. Almost all the children of their parents who follow this, principles top the class when it comes to maths. Standard. The reason is simple. Mathematics, there's a way to learn mathematics. I struggled with mathematics in school.
Yeah, me too.
I think most medical people did.
I failed maths, further maths.
Most medical people struggle with mathematics. Yes. And it's not like we're not smart. Yes. Come on.
I was doing well in the other areas.
My physics was an A1. It's not like I'm not. It's just because the concept, the way maths was taught,
so abstract.
I couldn't relate to it.
That is it.
And then to complete my math teacher was just a wizard. Oh Lord, God forgive me. But the guy just made it look as if math,
some big thing out there.
I just struggled to pass maths. For an early student, having a C5 was like you failed. So I felt that I failed mathematics. And that's one of the things that I started to, I think most of us, when we begin to struggle with that math, we just begin to look the medical way and leave engineering for the people that who can do math.
And all those
but I realized that mathematics, I did a research. So this is not just talking in the air. I did a research and found that there are concepts that you teach a child from the beginning that will make a child not to struggle with numbers. The concept of the mental, formation, and it starts from age 0.
Yes.
So when people started saying, your 7-year-old can cook, is that possible? Oh, you're lying. Oh, your 8-year-old can cook. Today in my home, we said that my daughter struggled with mathematics. A struggle is a 90. That's what a struggle is in my home. Wow. Our son does 99 in mathematics because Ayo is a maths, is a kinesthetic learner. So math concept comes to him really easy. Mathematics can be a walk in the park. I realized it. I started teaching myself mathematics as an adult. Yeah. And I realized that I can now do well with numbers. Before I would tell myself, I don't know numbers. Yeah, I don't know. I cannot do numbers. I cannot. No. The numbers you can actually learn. I started learning. My math concept is on point right now. When I'm talking with my team, I'm like, no, that will not work. But you do numbers. If you work with me as a mentee, I'm always very emphatic on numbers. I learned it. So putting your child, scaffolding them with a lot of lesson teachers, it's not going to change anything. The best that will happen is like you will become like some of us who crammed maths, manage to pass it because we need to be in school, and then went to a course that will not, involve that. And it's interesting because in medicine, maths is a key aspect of medicine. So how
Maths
come?
is key in every aspect of life. That's what I
So
came to
how
realize
come?
after that course.
So how come we're not struggling with maths itself? The calculation itself. So it now takes you to the point where you begin to realize that these things are just, the way they are taught. They are in the concept that, it's built.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we do in the academy. Being able to teach parents. I remember the first time I said cooking helps your child with math concepts. A parent started me and said, cooking. I say, you think my children cook for fun? They don't cook for fun. It's not for you to show. It's not for you. On that my daughter now cooks without thinking. Wow. So cooking is no longer a thing, all right, for her. So it's no longer something she does with her active energy. There's something Mrs. Notch was saying the day she was
spinal level.
Yes. It is now something you don't think. So if you're doing it and doing another thing, you're not multitasking because it has become part of you.
Yeah. Just
like some of us who have driven for so long. If you're driving and listening to something, you're no longer multitasking.
Because driving is just
it's become something that is part of it. It's been structured into the system. And that's what happens. Somebody is asking me how does the inner circle run? And the inner circle is a 1-year program. 1-year program. Let me allow Dr. Boma say what the inner circle, because the person is asking this question. Maybe Dr. Boma will be able to explain. He said, what is the terms of duration daily, weekly, monthly? What is the modus operandi?
Wow. Okay, so can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
All right. So, in the words of our dear Coach Wendy, see, whatever expectation, let me start with that. Whatever expectation you have about the program, the inner circle is the expectation. I had expectations, but when I came, I got much more, than I even bargained for. Every area of my life improved. Now, how does the program run? It is a program that is run annually, So you come in, you have like an entry point where you get a foundation, all right? And based on your performance, of course, they have key performance indicators to assess. That is the whole point of the program. And that was part of why I joined, accountability. It's not enough to just say you're doing. Somebody needs to hold you accountable. So you are held accountable at every point in time. Like when that time of assessment is coming, you see all of us, we are shaking. So you would be assessed based on, what the academy thinks you should have been able to come up with at the end of each year.
I think she's wanting to know, how does it run every day?
Okay.
Like, what do you need to do on a daily basis?
Okay. So on a daily basis, it's about connection. So it's as simple as that. Most parents don't understand connecting with your child. Okay. So you have daily connection tools, that you get to do, because you need to connect first before you start complaining about what your child did or did not do. Start from there. A lot of us were so busy, so many things. We are busy but not even productive. So many things are taking our attention, So you would have connection tools to bring you back to understand that this child that came is not the child that's asked to be here. I'm the one. So connect with that child. That child that you have, not the one you wish you want. So connection tools daily. You have webinars, every month. I think once a week. Then voice notes. Those voice notes are like, it's like part of my morning routine. I have to listen to them for me to set my day in course, right? So that is basically what would be happening in the academy. You would think it's a big deal, but something seems difficult until you actually do it, until you actually be a part of it. So that is what happens daily. I hope I've been able to answer the question.
Yes. Right. So daily connection to somebody already said a weekly webinar, book reviews.
Yeah,
you will read. If you are not, somebody said, coach, paid. Oh, can we see the books that we need, as we're going, so that I will know what it is we need to say. It's okay, you will get books. And I said a disclaimer, you would also get books for your children. So all these, these books, when I finish paying, will I pay for books? You will pay for books and more books. you will buy books for your children. You're not buying it for me. Your children will need books. There's a kind of book you will need to be able to buy for each kind of child. Somebody wrote in the comment section that he has a 6-year-old that is struggling to read. My son didn't read at 6, for the records. Yet, he is currently a leader in school. So being a leader in school means that you're going to be addressing people a lot. You're going to be speaking. His essays are read and rechecked in school. They use his essay to do as a template for the other people who have written their essay as a standard.
Wow.
But there is something that we did. There is something that we did. He didn't just wake up and then he became that person. No. Today he reads, and we're still on the journey. We're still on the journey, right? He reads so seamlessly. Sometimes I look back and I remember that he's a set of twins. So his sister was reading. We still watched it a few days ago. Our daughter was the one who actually was the valedictorian from nursery to primary. She was the only one who could read.
Wow.
Fluently in the whole school. So she was the only one. So our son was there, remember? And this guy was just there and couldn't read. And we're like, what is happening? By the way, my son and I are two smart people. We were raised by teachers. So it's not so if it's about gym, we're smart. If it's about being able to, we are. It was the same thing we're doing for our daughter, we're doing for our son. But it wasn't working. You know why? Because there is a way. Because the way they learn were different. Until I understood who I was parenting, nothing changed. So you need to come and understand who you're parenting. So all this, my child is not reading. I want to go and bring a million people to teach my child. That's not it. You are the center of that thing that is happening. You are at the center. My 2 kids are in boarding school. How will I work with them? You will work with them. My children are in boarding school, man. Well, in fact, being in boarding school is a yada thing. So don't worry. Being in boarding school is a yada thing. You can be sure. Right? So being in the inner circle helps you a lot. All right. So Dr. Boma, as we begin to round off, tell me about the books you've read. Which one was the most striking of all of them?
Raising an Independent Thinking Child. So I actually had a quote that you said that I said I was going to say, to just buttress the points for this book. So you said something. You said, don't just let your child grow. Have a plan to raise them to thrive.
Wow. And
for me, that was mind blowing. So raising the independent thinking child, because I'm like, for me, I like to see people that think, don't just do. So that book, I sat with it and I've read it, I think like twice. I've gone through it twice. That book has a lot. It is deep, a lot of things to teach, skills to teach. That book is wow. For me, that was a game changer. And then I would also say the parenting launch plan. So it got me to actually open a journal and start writing, because when I even looked at some aspects up to dating, marriage, I say, dating and marriage plan. But come to think of it, you are shaping who your child is going to become. Most of these things we don't, and that is the beauty of getting into a system like this. It helps you to become aware of things that, you can actually influence. A lot of things we see play out in the society today, because most of these things, nobody paid attention to it. Nobody had a plan, a structure. You can actually predict what will be the outcome of how things will be for your kids if you pay attention to this plan. So that parenting launch plan, raising independent thinking child, for me was a game changer, because I told you I like structure. So it helped me to get thinking, put a structure. This is what you expect at so time. I had 3 performance indicators. I review my plan, every now and then to see, am I actually even getting that result? So by the time I launch my child, I can launch with my full chest. According to someone, you sleep with your 2 eyes closed, So that's for me where the game changers, like.
All right, so one of the things that intrigued me, let me just share a background story about the launch plan and the Raising Independent Thinking Child. This will be that blockbuster book for me. This will be that book that I had thought of, researched for so long. It took me so long to finish writing it. And if you know my books, this is the biggest of them all.
Yes,
I don't
it is.
like big books.
Yeah.
But I needed to do this. You know, I saw my own father do a lot of the things that were not documented. So for me, it was good plan, but it wasn't documented. So you will have some assumptions here and there. And this is the key factor, really, in raising children. That's why we come up with things like, don't you know the child of who you are? We don't know.
They don't know. Because you didn't tell them.
We
Nothing.
don't know. Don't you know the family you come from? We don't know. What family? Is it not this family? We don't know.
We don't know anything.
So you know, and like, you know, and like Dr. Boma said, predictability. I hate unpredictability. It is a show of you not knowing what it is, where you're going at. And we like unpredictability, especially in Africa. And that's why we're where we are. We can't predict. We can't look at a plan and say,
a child will turn out
right. What is that? We're parenting on probability. We're not thinking. We're not saying in 26 years, where will this child be? We're not reversing. Yes. We're not engineering people. We're assuming that God is going to come from somewhere. And then we say things like, it's God that raised children. Like, really? Are you guys joking?
Like arrows.
Like, really?
Arrows.
Arrows in the hands of the mighty man. And then we will now say that the mighty man is God.
No,
the mighty man is you.
The
mighty man is you. You are the shooter. And many of the times, we're not shooting right. That's why our children are not hitting targets. And it's as simple as that. So, you know, I'm a structured person. I'm a predictability kind of person. And when I see children just, you know, go away, and when people say, I don't know what will be, my children will say, no, I know where my children are going. Beg, what is I don't know what will be? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? I don't know what will be. We know where we're going. Yeah. All right? Because that's what the Bible says. It says, as far as your eyes can see. Meanwhile, we're Christians, we're Muslims, but we don't even believe in the things that we say to ourselves. We don't say it. And then we wake up and say, what will be, will be. Nobody knows tomorrow. What is all of that? Meanwhile, the Bible says that, have you ever seen a man who is about to build a house that doesn't sit down to count the cost? Many of us have not counted the cost of being able to raise a child. Talking about it. You're a medical doctor. You work in a system. We know how tasking. Now that most doctors have Japan.
The work is even more.
The work is even more. And how do you cope to be able to be? I also know that, you know, you are in the masterpiece mentorship. Somebody is asking me, I hope you'll be my personal mentor. All right, if you are called to be a mentee, you will be. You don't need an answer for that. All right. So how are you able to join up? You're active in the system. You're doing things. And you're also active in being able to do the things that you do. And then your parents, and how are you able to cope? People say they can't cope. That's why they cannot join programs. People say it's overwhelming. How are you? I want you to share practical ways. Okay. How have you been able to cope?
All right. So I will take us back again to that time management webinar. If you're not in the inner circle, sorry, but essentialism, was something that has helped me. So I went back to the drawing board and I'm like, okay, what is important to me now? These 24 hours, Coach Wendy will do all these plenty things and she will still come out looking slaying and tensioning us with everything. I'm like, how? I need to go back to the drawing board. So I looked at it in the context of essentialism and somehow, before now, thankfully, when I was going to choose the aspect I was going to, specialize in, I realized that family for me had always been a value. I value family. So I'm like, okay, I need to do something that will not be so tasking, but I will still be able to, fulfill that purpose of being able to help.
Wow. Okay, go ahead, please.
So for me, to be able to still reach out to those in need, but still have time for family. So most times, our career, we will need to check,
what is essential.
Yes, that is the essentialism I keep talking about. Now, like there was something you shared that was profound. You said
sorry about that. We got lost. All right. Yes, the seasons of life.
Yes.
Choosing your career path. That's where
Mhm.
Dr. Boma was.
So there was something you shared that was profound. You know, you said there was a time when you didn't used to go for weddings, you know, weekend. So we need to understand that, see, this parenting is about you and your child. Though. You are not doing it to impress your friends or anybody. So there are times you will have to make those hard decisions. Like this time of my life, you know, I need to focus on
Where
this.
am I?
You, thank you. Where are you? Because where you are will depend, you know, how you will shoot. So there are some hard decisions you need to take. There are some things you need to cut down on, you know, just to make sure that you are focused and you are in the moment, you are in the present. Okay. A lot of us, we tend to look at another person's journey. Our journeys are different. So
Yes.
coach will keep saying that we are all in different journeys. The principles are the same.
Yes.
The methodology will differ. The context will differ because we take the knowledge and then use it in the context of our own family dynamics. Okay. So that's a thinking parent, an intentional parent. So for me, that was it. I had to realize that, okay, this is what is essential to me now. There are so many things that I wish I could have done.
Yeah.
You know, even that travel was after a long
time.
You know, but I had to do it at that point. But before then, the opportunity even came a year before. I had to move it.
Yeah.
Because I felt I had not prepared my kids enough for me to be able to just go. You know, my second daughter wasn't, you know, old enough and all of that. So it's essentialism, guys.
Seasons of life.
Yeah.
Being able to recognize where you are. So all these, I don't have that 24 hours is never going to change. In fact, I don't have time is the language of poor time managers. I don't have time is the language of people who cannot manage their lives. If you can't manage your time, you cannot manage your life. And no matter how you scream and shout, 24 hours is not going to change. God is not going to give you a different number of hours. So impact makers don't have less than 24, more than 24 hours. They have 24 hours, just like you and I. So whether you are a doctor, you are whatever, whoever you are, you can do this. You can. It's just for you to know what is essential. Somebody is saying, I'm paying 35, 30. That's okay, provided your payment and finish it by 1st of December. So we're going to start rounding up because we have 1 minute to go. And I'm sure that Dr. Boba also would need to be at work like every single one of us. All right. What would be your advice to the people who are watching us? Who think, are you sure this thing that they're saying? Me, I don't have money, 100K, don't have it to waste. I'll now come and pay 100K to not be like that training I went before. Somebody said about 10 minutes. In fact, I was overwhelmed. So what would you say to them?
Okay, so my words would be you need to have that sense of urgency. Okay, your kids, they don't wait for you. They don't wait for when you have taken decision about, okay, is it not? They grow every day. And you know what? Every day you miss, like the parenting advantage in the conference the other year, every day you miss out on getting the necessary knowledge you need, you do your child a disservice. So what is that parenting advantage your child is going to have because you are their parent? Is this knowledge that you have. So and then most people have this fixed mindset. So see, there will be things that will be obstacles. There are reasons, like you keep saying, the excuses are tenable, but they won't produce results. You can give the excuse, my job is so tight, I don't have money, my children are this.
They are valid excuses.
They are fine, but are they going to give you results? Yeah. So when you start doing that, you shut down the brain because you don't even give the brain the opportunity to think. But when you say, how can I? For me, that has also helped me. It's not as if I had the best opportunities or had it all together, the money and everything at the time, I needed to pay. But I opened up my mind and said, okay, how can I do this? And the brain will begin to think, opportunities will start staring you in the face of how you can make it happen for your children. So for me, it's legacy. Like I read this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It says, begin with the end in mind.
Yes.
Today, if you go back and ask your children, if they were going to say something about you, what would it be? If what you hear is not what you want to hear, then you have to get to work now to change those words, okay? Beginning with the end in the mind. So that's what I'm going to say. I think that's a good word that comes in good time, right? What would be that advantage that you raised
that person. People say, oh, this person has become a Mark Zuckerberg, this person has become a president. If you raise that person, will that person become a Mark Zuckerberg? That's the question that we all need to ask ourselves. The answer is for you to answer, right? It's for your meditation today, all right? Being in the academy is a game changer for you to be able to give your children an advantage. There are things that I say about raising a child. A child will become a product of where they were raised. Who raised them? What the person who raised them knows is a differentiating factor.
Yeah.
So you can be that person who raised them. You can be a medical doctor, but do not know what you need to give them. The knowledge, whatever your children become, is directly proportional to your knowledge bank. And it has nothing to do with you being an academia. I have seen illiterate parents raise better children because of what they know. So when we talk about what you know, it's not about education, all right? In academics or something, the way we look at it, it is about what you know indeed. Knowledge is what is going to set you free, all right? And there are things that you will learn when you get into the academy and you're wondering, oh, wow, what happened to me here? A lot of us, somebody is asking, oh, so coach, when I pay everything, will I assess honor as a skill? Nah, you're not going to assess honor as a skill. You will wait until you enter the inner circle. When you get into the inner circle, then you assess the webinars at the right time. You get as you go even listen to honor as a skill now.
It will make sense.
You even abuse me on top.
It will make sense to you.
You even abuse me on top. So I do not want you to abuse me yet. Even if you are going to go through the process. There's a process to this. There is a thing, and that's why the curriculum is built the way it's built. So don't bother jumping in. It will overwhelm you if you do. All right. So we wait for you.
Somebody who like kitty.
Yes.
Just give me tips and hacks. Let me
just get it. They're talking about honor. Let me just come and learn it and do it.
Nothing in isolation. It's a process.
Yes.
Please. Just be patient enough to follow the process, and you will see the results.
That's it. All right. So someone is asking of my books. All my books are available on Amazon. These I have like 10 copies, 10 books. There are about 3 or 4 of them coming out again this year. One of the things that I have is to use my books to change the narrative of parenting in Africa. I am committed to it. It doesn't matter, even if I don't need to sleep. I was telling them, yesterday at the Masterpiece, mentorship at our webinar, and I said to them, I said, it's all these, I cannot, don't come here, come and do it. All right. And the boss in the inner circle is hot. If you are coming, so humility about that. If not, you slap this small girl when you are empty inside. You just like, who the hell does she think she is? I'll just beat this girl up. Please, before you beat me, come very humbly, because the inner circle will humble you completely. I look forward to seeing you. Somebody said my birthday is on the 1st of December. That will be the best birthday you have ever had, because the induction, is going to come in an amazing way. The Inner Circle is a program in the Intentional Parent Academy. The Intentional Parent Academy is an academy founded by yours truly, and the Inner Circle program is our 1-year program in the academy. There are courses, short courses. The Back to School was one of them. The Sex Educate Your Child is a short course in the academy. The Inner Circle is the most transformative. That's the word, all right? Because it has the longest duration. Because you would need, accountability. That's what the Inner Circle is. So the Inner Circle is 100,000. Oh, you missed the 70K. It used to be. It is no longer 70K. Somebody is asking. The Inner Circle is 100,000 a year, all right? You will pay 100,000 a year. You can pay an installment starting from now. Provided your payment is completed by the 1st of December, you are in. Our induction is 1st of December. That's the TIP Christmas.
I remember that moment.
That's the TIP Christmas. You wait. The way you wait for 1st December, all right? You wait, because everybody attends the class. You see like 3,000 people streaming live. I say it's an awesome time. We love it, all right? We always look forward to the Inner Circle. And the Inner Circle is where our energy is when it comes to the parenting programs that we run. And you're going to feel it. When you get into the Inner Circle, you feel the energy of the TIP team, all right? The energy is, That's our most transformative, program. And it started because I got to realize that you need a program, you need an accountability system to produce the kind of result that I'm talking about. If you want to raise kings, there is a way. If you want to raise slaves, the choice is yours. Now, when you're building a house, there are 2 houses you can build: a shanty and a mansion.
Yeah.
If you're going to build a mansion, you need professionals. You need people who will help you to draw the plan. You need strategy. You need people who will build it for you. You need all sorts. And then you need to draw the plan before you even set up. But if you want to build a shanty, why do you need a plan? You don't.
Wake up one day
So you can just wake up one day and put a thatch, put a bacha. I'm sure we've seen shanties. So it is a conversation of choice. Is it that you're building a mansion or you're building a shanty? The choice is yours. And I dare say, is it that you're raising a king or you're raising a slave? There is no time in the system of the world where there will be no slaves. The people who are raising the outliers of the world are already there, preparing them to take over the world in their times. There will still be people who will serve them. So kingship as a system, commoners are never going to be out of that system. So the choice will be yours. Do I want to go the way of kingship? Do I want to go the way of commoners? And kings are not always available everywhere. It's just one king now in a community. So it's not a conversation of, no, I want to. It's okay if you want to do it your own way, the way you want. So the choices are laid before you. Choose you this day. The God you will serve. As for me and my family, we serve the God of inside the ark of Noah. All right. So somebody's asking that question again. Is the inner circle different from the academy? The inner circle program is a program in the academy. Until you are in the inner circle program, you will not feel the stress. So the inner circle program runs for 1 full year. 1 full year. It does not run half a year. And we don't take people in the middle of the year. If you're not able to get in on the 1st of December, you will wait. I'm gladly announcing to you. You wait in 2024.
For 2025.
For 2025. The next cohort will start 1st December 2024. So we don't take people in the middle of the year. It doesn't even matter how many heads you have. My sister tried 1 year to come into the middle. I said, Madam, sorry, man. It is not going to work. So if you're not in, you're not in. If you're in, you're in. All right? So if you want to parent intentionally, like Dr. Boma said, it's about the daily things you put in. On a daily basis, your children are growing. They're not going to wait for you. They won't wait for your career until you become a consultant.
You pause. You put them on pause.
Put them on pause.
Then I'm ready
when
now.
When I'm ready, I'll now come. I'll now continue. It's never going to happen. And that is the key thing that you should go home with. And like Dr. Boma said, this is something that, by the way, we have a lot of medical doctors in the inner circle. Okay. I don't know how come we have a lot of medical doctors in the inner circle.
I realize that we have to put structure. It's not just about our patients.
I know, right?
We have patients. Okay, patients, not in the literal word, but we have people that we need to care for first. Before we think of the ones that we're caring for out there.
Quite a number of them. I didn't know the other day I was looking for a doctor who was working in FMC. I didn't know we had 4 doctors in the inner circle in FMC. I was like, wow. That was so powerful for me.
Wow.
All right. So it is something that you will want to stand up and start your journey and throttle. Nobody's going to do this job for you. Remember, it's either you're building a mansion or you're building a shanty. The choice is yours. The details of registering for the inner circle is right on my screen. You can book a slot now so that you don't miss the opportunity with 5,000 naira. The moment we get to the numbers that we need, we're already at overwhelming numbers of thousands. If you do not, all right, if you're not able to see Dr. Celestina, she's here. Dr. Celestina doesn't miss the 8 o'clock my parenting journey. No, She's also a medical doctor. Her husband is also a medical doctor. Interesting.
Wow.
All right. And so when people come to me and say, "Oh, I don't have time. Oh, I cannot," I'm like, please sit down, calm down.
No worries.
I have military men in the inner circle.
Wow.
Yeah. The present assistant commissioner of police in Abuja, part of one of the assistant commissioners, is in the inner circle. Her job is so taxing. Yes, she's there. And sometimes she said, "Coach, you don't understand why I'm here. I'm gonna be able to get her to come and share on my intentional parenting journey." And this is so key. See, Dr. Edith, we have quite a number.
Okay.
And they are see Dr. Happiness. We have we have quite a number, but plenty. All right. So thank you for joining us this morning. We're very grateful. Thank you for being here. And thank you to the Inner Circle veterans who are always here every morning.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys. All right. Somebody said Chief Telesina.
Okay, you people are connecting.
So you people are not connecting inside this. Doctors, leave this trip. Get out.
Don't have a doctor's hangout.
I'm telling you. At this rate.
Yeah, that doctor.
At this rate, it's going to happen. Thank you so much, Dr. Boma, for coming this morning.
Wow.
Thank you so much. I love you. I honor you. Thank you for being
thank
here.
you for the privilege.
I am so grateful. I know that your time is so timed. And being here is a whole lot. All right. Thank you so much to our listeners who come in here every morning listening to us. And it is the end of my intentional parenting journey for today, the 11th of September. See you tomorrow. Do not sleep on this booking. If not, because you will come one day, the team will say we have finished booking. You will not come. I'm going to say, "Coach, hey, your team said you cannot. Hey, is that how they are?" At that time, I will not be able to help. Book now. Book now. Thank you. And thank you. I see you, Orefe. Pastor Ofe, Pastor Ore, we see you. I see you. The Swekens. The Swekens are one of our model families. Shout out to you guys. And my love to baby. Thank you so much, Wura, Dr. Zamaka. I see you. Thank you, Dr. Celestina. Thank you. I see you guys. I see Omosi Space, Pretty Nenye, Corey Day, and all the new yarders. I see you, Victor Idemudia. Looking forward to seeing you right in the academy if you're not there. I see you, Adako. I see you, Pedro. Thank you so much for joining this morning. If I didn't, call your name, please just know that I didn't just scroll through to say, but I appreciate all of you. I love you. I honor you. See you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.